Hello, How to Catch a Johnny Drip Drip Nation. Welcome to a very special presentation prior to the 2023 Johnny Drip Drip weekend. There is a new event coming to the weekend this year, and I would like to share with you all this wonderful event. With no further ado, let me debut the How to Catch a Johnny Drip Drip Combine. This past year I was thinking to myself, what's something we could add to the weekend to really bring the pageantry and flair to another level, as we all love these things. I thought to myself, what about a combine? Combines are a lot of fun. They help show off the athletic abilities that individual competitors have, but they also kind of pull everybody together as you watch people compete in the same tasks. With that said, I've created 3 different events which I think really emulate and are a good microcosm of the skills necessary for Johnny Drip Drip. So let's get into them. The first event is called Launch Party. Launch Party is very adjacent to hitting home runs. It's essentially a home run derby, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one, as we've been trying to do a home run derby for a while. I'll get into the individual descriptions of the events in just a minute here. Let's move to the next. The next event is going to be called Splash Off, and Splash Off is going to really test your ability to deliver accurate passes and pitches. The third and final event, perhaps the one I'm most interested in, is going to be Up and Down. Up and Down is really going to test your strength and endurance in a feat of pure power. Now, these events will all end in a numerical score or time being awarded to the individual competitor. Now, these scores, they'll be put down on your Drip Drip permanent record, which is still kind of a work in progress, by the way, so if you have a better name for that, let me know. But basically, everybody has stats from their years of playing Johnny Drip Drip, so those stats will be applied to your player card or something like that. And in addition, these different values you earn in the Johnny Drip Drip Combine will also go towards your permanent record, or whatever we want to call it. So, with no further ado, let's get into the actual events. So, Launch Party. Like I said, it's basically a home run derby, but I want to get into how we're going to go throughout creating scores here. So anyway, yeah, we're testing your ability to hit dingers, as we know. You will have 5 attempts, you'll have 5 swings of the bat, and by that I mean, you can have anybody out there tossing little meatballs to you that you can hit, and if you swing the bat at the ball, that counts as a swing and it counts as an attempt. If you let it go past you because you didn't like the swing, do that as many times as you'd like. Okay, so a line will extend from the dock some amount of feet. This is a work in progress that Ian, our house engineer, and I are working on. So we're going to be doing that Thursday morning, and we'll have a little more information for you then. But basically, a line will extend out from the dock straight 60 to 100 feet, we'll say. Points will be awarded incrementally, and this line will be broken up by segmented pool noodles, which we will have in separate zones or separate scores. So then, once we figure out how that's going to be broken up, you'll get a point based on where your ball lands. And if your ball lands beyond the farthest zone, you just get the maximum amount of points, which would either be equal to the feet or a point value. So that will come later, but basically this is how it will work. And your points from the 5 swings would be tallied, your points or your feet. So if we just did like 100 feet, you'd get 500 if you hit 5 home runs. Those things would be added together, and that total score would go on. We're going to call it now your drip record. Second event, Splash Off. This is probably the most straightforward event. So thanks to Samuel Minishevsky, our good friend, who lended us a Yeti sponsorship this year, we have landed a 20-gallon Yeti bucket. So this bucket you'll see and become very familiar with, as it's housing our kegs this year, but it will also make a special appearance in this event. So this 20-gallon bucket will sit on the raft, and will be filled with a small amount of water to prevent balls from bouncing out. Competitors will stand on the dock, and they will get 10 balls to toss from the dock into the Yeti, which is on the raft. 1 point awarded for each splashdown, meaning a score. You had to call it something. I like splashdown. And your total score goes on your drip record. So there we have 2 events, 2 scores. Last but not least is Up and Down. Up and Down is probably the game that might require the most explanation, but I think once we get into it, it'll be pretty self-explanatory. So again, here we're going to be testing your stamina and your ability to mount the raft, which is really the make or break moment of Johnny Drip Drip. So this event will be timed by a stopwatch by either an umpire or anybody else who's sitting nearby at the end of the dock. So that's where you'll start, obviously, at the end of the dock. You will jump in the water, swim to the raft, and mount it when you're given the go-ahead by the umpire when you're told to start. This is where the fun comes in, because once you get on top of the raft, you'll have to finish a can of beer, which will be sitting up there for you, and swim back to the dock. When you come back to the dock, the time only stops when you mount it. So you can either climb up the dock like you would on the raft, or there is a ladder installed which might take just a few more seconds, which is something you'll have to think about. And in addition, there will be 2 potential penalties. A 5-second penalty will be given if you leave a drink in your beer, so some foam or just a light amount, and a 15-second will be added for anything more than that. And this can be judged by myself or somebody else who will be out near the raft when this event's taking place. And I'll think of something to put the cans in so they don't just roll off after you drink them anyway. Maybe we'll nail down a box or something like that. And anyway, this final time, like the other events, would go on your permanent drip record. And yeah, so anyways, I'm really looking forward to experiencing the Drip Drip Combine and seeing how it goes. I think it'll bring a lot of fun, and I think it'll bring excellent drippage as per usual. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys all shortly. Peace out. Creator going goofy.